Welcome to the Brad and Taylor Show. Today we have Jeff Duneske.
You're listening to The Brad and Taylor Show, a podcast that inspires entrepreneurs to pursue their passions. We're sitting down with some of the best to learn how they got started and some lessons they learned along the way.
Hey Jeff, how's it going?
Good afternoon. Doing well, thanks.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit kind of about what you do.
Sure. So again, I've been in the real estate business here. Just had my 21-year anniversary.
Nice.
Again, I'm located here in southeastern Michigan, kind of halfway between Ann Arbor and Detroit. And last year surpassed two pretty big milestones in my career. One was surpassing over 1,000 real estate closings.
Nice.
And shortly thereafter surpassed $250 million worth of closed inventory in my career. So been around the block a few times, no pun intended. And no, absolutely, it's a passion. Love what I do.
That's awesome. So let's back it up a little bit. When you were younger, was this your plan growing up, or what was your plan?
Everyone in real estate has a story.
Yep.
And my story was, as young as I can remember, I went through the Scouts. I earned my Eagle Scout. And one thing that I always wanted to pursue was becoming a firefighter and paramedic. And so as soon as I graduated high school, went into a fire academy, and then right from there went into doing a volunteer part-time fire department, continued on, got my degree in emergency medical technology, got my paramedic. And again, I was on the fast track to pursue a full-time position. And back in the late 90s here, I can only speak right here in the, I guess, call it southeastern Michigan. It was still kind of it wasn't what you knew, it was who you knew. And it really helped getting hired, having a relative in the real estate profession. Unfortunately, I did not have anyone like that. So after multiple tries of getting hired on full time, a friend of mine, her mother was in real estate, and she's like, "Hey Jeff, you got the people skills, you love helping people, you got the drive, the work ethic. You ever thought about real estate?" I'm like, I'm 21 years old. No, I've never thought about real estate. And fast forward 21 years, here we are, and no looking back.
I like it.
How did you get where you are today? How's your road been? The whole journey, how's it been for you?
Well, and again, like anything, when you get into the career of real estate, it definitely, I mean, it takes a while to build up that book of business. And
Oh yeah.
I wasn't handed that book. And again, just doing it very organically. Worked multiple jobs, still stayed on working as a firefighter part-time until I could get there, delivered pizzas, lifeguarding. I mean, you name it, I was doing it to just get where I was at. And just really the mindset was huge. And I always, whenever anyone asks me, what's the secret sauce? How do you get to be one of the top agents in your profession? It's all about mindset. So failure was never an option. And it was just absolutely critical to, again, pursue your dreams. And just, again, you're going to get knocked down. You just got to roll with the punches and just keep focused, have your goals written. And thankfully, I've had a fantastic support staff. My wife is fantastic. She's been with me almost the entire journey of this, of my career. Had great parents, great in-laws, and again, just a great support staff, great coaches over the years. And again, it takes a village to get there.
That's awesome. So when you got started out, were you on like a team, or did you kind of solo by yourself and then go from there?
Yeah, I went solo. And again, at the time, again, early, 2000, teams were really kind of few and far between, not like where it's at today.
Yeah.
So it was just really a team option was really never an option out there. So again, just I had some great I had a fantastic mentor, again, who made the suggestion for me to get into real estate. And again, Lissa was fantastic to coach me and really train me on the ropes on how to get to be the best.
That's awesome, especially if you have someone helping out right at the beginning, because that like definitely points you in the right direction. It saves you like years of trying to figure it out, going, this is what I got to do? Okay.
Exactly.
So that's awesome.
Take us to your first transaction. How did that go?
First transaction, 915 Liberty Street. And it's funny how you can remember that address.
Yep.
And it's like another kid of yours. And it's just, it was friends. Again, like anything, my business, 80% of it is my friends sphere, just, but no, showed, geez, probably 30, 40 houses to my friends, first time home buyers, $90,000 property. And again, I just remember getting that first commission check, so excited, but
I
then,
bet.
you got to have the splits. You got to look at all that.
Yep.
And you're like, I just did all that for this.
Yep.
And yeah, so again, it was a great experience. And thankfully I've had a lot of, those first couple of years were huge on just friends, family, neighbors, alumni that instilled their trust in me to help them with their buying or selling.
That's awesome. So let's move forward up to now. Like how did last year go? Like when you found out, like once we got locked down, all of a sudden, how did what is like one big thing that's changed in your business since the lockdown?
So last year, again, I had just visions of grandeur as I was going into my 20th anniversary. Again, March of last year was my 20th work anniversary. And going into the new year, again, just had this vision of just having every single one of my 1,000 past clients, all my advocates, all my friends, invited to just this, epic party. And then COVID came into place. And I read a lot of great books throughout that. I huge audio books, reading books.
Yep.
And one book that was just absolutely incredible that really kind of shifted my mindset, and it's been incredible, called The Pumpkin Plan. The Pumpkin Plan. And the thing that was really interesting about this book was, with all of your past clients, yes, they're all important. However, what's that 10%? What's the A team, if you will? What's the best of the best? The people that are not only your past clients, but they've referred you to their friends, their colleagues, their neighbors. They're just great people, and you want to work with their friends because they're just great people. So, here in Michigan, for a better part of last year, any events you had was limited to 100 people maximum. So the book came at a perfect time where going through that list and really just figuring out who's on the pumpkin plan and who made the list. And so from there, it's not that I still keep in great communication with all my past clients, the neighborhood updates, you name it. But the thing was just, how do you just for that elite little group, really cater to them and just add a little bit more, because again, those are the people that you really want to continue to, if you could, clone them and work with more of their friends and families. So that was honestly probably one of the biggest takeaways that I can really attribute to what happened last year, was just really focusing on that, that top 10% of my past clientele's best advocates, friends, and go from there.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you kind of mentioned books. What is one of your favorite business books?
Well, again, from business books, God, I could rally off about 50 ones. One that was a really great one, and again, I've been with Keller Williams now for about 5 years. Again, The One Thing is a fantastic book.
Yep.
As we're entering into, call it, high school graduations, college graduations, things that are going on. It's a great book that I love to give high schoolers when they're graduating, really just to kind of take a step back, look at what's your passion? What's that one thing that you can try to drive, that you really want to go into in life? And again, not every high schooler has that vision of, hey, listen, I want to do this, I want to do that. So again, The One Thing has been, a fantastic book. And again, I call it a must read.
That's awesome. I like it. That's a pretty good book. I don't know how many, I think I've read that one or two times. So
for sure.
Good book.
If there's anything that you could do differently from when you first started off until now, would you go back and change anything?
I've been very blessed in my career, and the technology today, you just look back at it, where if you could take the CRMs and just, the communication that you can have today, if you rewind it, and clearly it was not there 20 years ago, but that's the one thing, is just maybe just even staying in that much better communication, that much better in contact with your past clientele, over the last several years since I've installed just really a much better communication with everybody, just definitely working definitely smarter, not harder. Where again, when you
Hmm.
start off in your career, you're working very hard because you're just trying to find uh, anything and where can you get that next client and business from. And now today, again, roughly 80% of my business annually is coming from repeat clientele, sphere past clients. And again, it's just been very fortunate. And really, I guess, looking back, I've always stayed to my roots. I've always just, again, stayed, don't try to pretend anything that you're not. I've stayed very, call it pretty hyper local in my marketplace. I haven't tried to be a, not try to serve everyone in southeastern Michigan. Really, there's 4 to 5 local communities I really focus on, and again, just do what you do best.
Yeah, absolutely. Going forward in the next year, is there anything that you would like to accomplish? Any goals that you have in place?
There's a lot of goals, and again, right now, it's just like anything going through o- over the last about 2 years, I've been really just trying to systemize as much as possible,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
really taking what I've done from start to finish in any part of the transaction, pre-listing, once you meet a new clientele, once you're pending, and just really breaking it down so that, again, the processes can be, just a repeatable system that
Yep.
can be done, not necessarily by myself, but just, if you have somebody that knows the system, knows the processes, and can really follow it. So the one thing that I haven't crossed over into quite yet, but just again, I have a fantastic client care specialist, transaction coordinator. Her name is Vicky. Um, but the one thing is just with the amount of business that we do, definitely we're looking into just having a little bit more of an assistant. So looking into possibly a virtual assistant
Mm-hmm.
and really I think best you utilize a virtual assistant, you got to have the systems,
Yep.
you know, every I dotted, every T crossed. And so again, going in as we're almost halfway through this year here already, um, just focusing on just really making the systems be duplicated so I can do what I do best, which is just, again, meeting new
Yep.
clientele, listing appointments, and again, just converting more sales.
That's awesome. Yeah, especially those systems. Definitely, once you have them in place for like every single little detail, that's when it's because then you can just say, "Here's how you do it. Follow this right here.
Yep.
Do it just like this, and it'll be the same result every single time." It's like those help out a lot. Like that's kind of what we're like working through every single little detail and every single thing we do, just to make sure. I'm like, Taylor, this is how we do it, just like this. And now she's like,
Well,
no, this is how we do it. And I say, okay, but yeah, once you have that system down, it works. It works very well.
and to go back 2 questions ago, which again, from a business book perspective, and really that kind of was the 2x4 across my forehead that was like, wow, I really need to put systems in place, was a book called Extreme Ownership.
Yep.
And again, just an incredible book that, again, there's no such thing as again, a bad team. There's just a bad leader. And the thing is, if the leader doesn't have the system in place, then how can you expect your team to follow?
Yep.
And the thing is, if you have a system in place, then it comes down to, is it the system that's failing or is it the operator that's failing? And if the team
Yep.
member, again, if you've got the system in place, if they know how to work it, if it's written out and again, flawless, at that point, um, the ownership goes back to who's operating it. And so
Yep.
again, when I read that book about 4 or 5 years ago, it was just always, call it grandma's meatloaf recipe. It was just, how do you get from, under contract to closing? You just kind of do it. And it was just, there was never an identical, repeatable system from start to finish. And now that we've had every step of the process documented, again, our reviews are more referrals and overall
Yeah.
managing the customer experience that much better.
Yep. Definitely makes that customer service better, especially like later down the road, especially because of all those details and all that stuff. So that's awesome. That helps out a ton. So we've been kind of doing that over the last couple of years. So I totally understand that that systems thing. So um, how can people get a hold of you?
A website, onedaysold.com is my website. My wife and I, when we were here in Metro Detroit, we were one of the first markets here in the country to go into the recession. And however, we were one of the first ones to come out of it. And when I noticed tracking all of the foreclosure, short sales, everything that was taking place from that 2006 to 2012, right when I was tracking everything and saw that it was kind of a balanced market, we sat down and said, geez, think we're coming out of this 6-year, black hole. And so noticing that very quickly the market was turning to a seller's market, the plug, and this is way before coming soons were where they are today. We put together a coming soon program, and when it was all said and done with, we're like, what's like a little catchy phrase that we could use as a domain? And again, onedaysold.com is what we came up with. Now
That's awesome.
Some markets it's 1 minute sold.
I know, right?
That's but again, I'm again on Instagram, on Facebook. Again, our tags are 1 day sold, and
that's awesome. You snagged that before anybody else.
Yep.
It's, prime virtual real estate, to say the least.
Good win there. That's awesome. Is there anything else you want to share with everyone before we go?
No, I think ultimately, this market's going to be interesting for some time to come. And, but bottom line is just, again, systemize everything, stay in contact with your friends, your sphere, find that pumpkin plan, find that top 10%, that A team. And, again, if you lead with purpose, the profit will follow.
Awesome. Yep. Well, with that said, I think we finish up this one. We'll talk soon.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Are these working?
All right.
Here we go.
Oh, there we go. I think they're working. Should we tell them?
Mine keeps falling. It doesn't like my voice.
What do we got to tell them?
Subscribe.
Subscribe? What do we got to point at? Hey, I think there's a subscription button. Like
it might be there.
It might be right there too.
Somewhere.
Find
it. It's red.
Yeah. And it's blue. It's green. I don't really know.
It's a color.
This mic isn't even attached. Did you plug these in? Well, I guess.
I wonder if they can hear us.
Yeah, I wonder if they hear us. Well, we should probably tell them if they can hear us. We should probably tell them also give us a 5-star review for listening to on Apple. That'd be cool.
5 stars,
review.
Guys.
Share it with everybody they can think of.
We won't take 4 stars.
I mean, Taylor, I don't even think these are on. I mean,
I don't think this is working.
This is not working.
Yeah.